Alphas, why you are still questioning the silence that followed your name after they buried you. Why do you still ask why the earth did not split open in grief when your blood soaked it? You see, the world does not mourn legends. They fear their return. They whisper your name now, not in reverence, but in dread. You came back from the dead and started collecting names, not for vanity, not for remembrance, but as a ledger of reckoning. Each name, a debt, each one, a scar. You are not here to forgive. You are here to remind them that the darkness they thought they escaped now walks again in flesh and fury. They thought the dirt would keep you down. They thought silence would erase your story. But you, Alpha, you used the grave as a cocoon. You turned every ounce of betrayal, every laugh that echoed at your fall, into venom. And now that venom flows through you, not to poison, but to burn. Fire in your breath, iron in your bones, and a storm in your eyes. The ones who mocked your end, they forgot something vital. Some spirits do not rest. Some wounds do not close. Some monsters are made by men, but legends they forge themselves in the pits of oblivion. When they see you now, they see more than a survivor. They see what happens when a soul refuses to break. You are not a man anymore, not just flesh and thought. You are purpose with blood. You are revenge with direction. You are the embodiment of every word left unsaid, every opportunity stolen, every light they tried to smother. And they will pay, name by name. You collect them not as trophies, but as testimonies. The list grows, not to brag, but to mark who is next. And make no mistake, they know. They feel the cold before you arrive. They hear the breath of fate behind them. There is no mercy in your eyes anymore, only clarity, the kind of clarity that only death can give. You've seen the end. You've stood in the void, and instead of begging for return, you roared. The void blinked, the reaper stepped aside, and you came back. Now every step you take echoes louder than 1,000 sermons. Your silence speaks louder than their shouts. Your presence makes kings tremble, for they know crowns mean nothing when death walks with memory. They called you broken. They said you were done. They thought your fall was the end of your story. But your fall was the punctuation mark before the beginning. They never understood that some hearts beat not from hope, but from hate refined into power. You are the curse they cast carelessly, returned with intention. You are every never again personified. You are the shadow they forgot to fear. And now they remember. Oh yes, they remember, because you came back from the dead and started collecting names, and let them wonder why you don't smile anymore. Let them question why you no longer sleep like the rest of them. Sleep is for the safe. Peace is for the content. But you, Alpha, you were reborn in war. You rest only when the list is complete, when the ledger is balanced, when the echoes of your vengeance stop bouncing off the walls of history. You are not tired, not weak, not lost. You are focused. And focus is the sharpest weapon of all. No one sees the hours you spend in silence, rebuilding muscle, thought, will. They do not see how you tore yourself apart again and again, just to ensure no weakness remained. You trained not for victory, but for domination. You moved in shadows, not because you feared light, but because you became the shadow. You are not hidden anymore. You are hunting. They'll say you've changed. Let them. Change was the point. You were clay before. They shaped you. Now you are stone, and you carve yourself. Each name you collect is a piece of the pain returned. No one escapes the reckoning. Not anymore. You kept receipts. You remember the laughter when you begged for a second chance. You remember the silence when you needed help. You remember the lies the betrayals, the promises made under the mask of friendship. And now? Now you carry truth like a blade. They made a mistake. They should have ended you properly. But instead, they left you breathing. They left you thinking. They gave you time. They gave you motive. They gave you clarity. You don't need to raise your voice anymore. Your existence screams loud enough. They feel it. The shift. The imbalance. The hunter has returned. You don't even seek revenge anymore. No, this is deeper. This is restoration. This is about reclaiming everything they buried with you. Not just your name, not just your pride, but your essence. They tried to erase you from the world, but you were carved into it. Even the ground remembers. Even the wind speaks of you. And every name you collect whispers another word into the story that will never die. You are not haunted. You are the haunting. They see you in dreams, waking with sweat and dread, unsure if you were real or ghost. But the truth is, you're both. You're the specter they thought would fade, and the warrior they can't defeat. You are death's defiance walking with purpose. You came back from the dead, and every breath since then has been a declaration that you are unfinished business wrapped in wrath. They will watch their empire crumble, not because you asked, but because you decided. Power is not given, it is reclaimed, and every day you rise is another reminder that they failed to kill what mattered most, your will. That's what they never understood. They can break your body, they can take your titles, but they cannot kill will, and will is what brought you back. Will is what drives your footsteps toward those names. Will is what burns in your eyes and silences entire rooms when you walk in. Let them fear the night again. Let them lock doors and whisper prayers, because the one they bury now walks with the storm. You are not cruel. You are just the answer they begged for, in a language they forgot. You are the silence between thunderclaps. You are the warning before the fall. You are what happens when justice becomes personal. You don't even need to speak anymore. The ground shakes, the air thickens. Your presence says it all. You are not here to inspire. You are not here to teach. You are here to remind. Remind them that not all stories end in death. Some begin there. And your story, your true story, began when they thought they had erased you. Now look at them, pretending they don't see you, pretending they aren't afraid. But you see through it. You see the cracks. You smell the fear. They feel the chill down their spine when your name is mentioned, because you are not a person to them anymore. You are consequence. And this list you keep, it's not about numbers. It's not about revenge. It's about making sure the universe knows you were here. You endured, you returned, and you refuse to be forgotten. You will walk until your shadow covers every name, until every lie is undone, until every wound bleeds truth. And when the last name is etched into your memory, when the final whisper falls silent, only then will the storm within you rest. But not today. Today, the hunt continues. Today, another name is added. Today, someone wakes up thinking they are safe, but by nightfall, they'll remember the eyes they once looked down on, now staring through them. You're not just back, you are becoming something more, something inevitable, something earned. And for those who once stood with you, who watched you fall and stayed silent, there is no mercy. They had their chance. Silence is a choice, and theirs was betrayal. You don't need to scream anymore. Your silence is louder than any cry. You came back from the dead, and now the dead walk with you. Each step a reckoning, each breath a sentence, each heartbeat a war drum. So walk, Alpha, Let them feel the return. Let the earth carry your fury. Let the heavens know you will not stop. Because this isn't about redemption. This is about domination. This is about legacy. You came back from the dead and started collecting names. And you're not done yet. Not even close. Yes, Alpha. We are just getting started. You see, they thought resurrection would soften you, that coming back meant you found peace. But peace is not for those who remember. Peace is not for the ones who clawed their way out of the abyss using fingernails and fury. Peace is a luxury, and you are war incarnate. Your return wasn't to heal, it was to finish. You came back not as the wounded, not as the forgotten, but as the reckoning that walks upright, breathes fire, and sees clearly through every lie. Each name you carve into your mind is a promise, not of violence, but of balance. You were never here to destroy the world. You were here to correct it. One name at a time, one soul at a time. They made the mistake of believing that time heals all wounds. Time only deepened yours, hardened them, made them part of your spine. And now, your spine is iron. Now, your will is a weapon. Now your pain is ammunition, locked and loaded with purpose. They do not cheer your name anymore. They hide from it. The ones who called you brother, friend, ally, they avert their eyes now. Not from shame, but from fear. They know what you are. They remember what they did. And the beautiful, terrifying truth is this. You remember it all too. Every slight, every whisper behind your back, every moment they let you bleed while they watched with folded arms. The list you carry is not just a record. It's a covenant, an oath to the past, a blueprint for what comes next. Your fire doesn't flicker, it consumes. Because this isn't about rage. Rage burns fast and blind. This is about purpose. This is about knowing exactly why you get up every morning, exactly why you sharpen your mind, exactly why you push your body past its limits. You are not fueled by hate. You are powered by memory. That is more dangerous than any weapon, more unrelenting than any storm, because hate fades, memory stays. And as the days pass, your legend grows. They call you myth now, trying to dilute your truth into fiction. They say you were a ghost, a hallucination, a nightmare they imagined. But their blood knows better. Their gut twists because they know you're real. They know your footsteps fall heavy on the roads they walk. They know that when the wind shifts and the shadows stretch longer than they should, you are near. You don't need armies. You are an army. You don't need banners. Your scars are your sigil. You don't need speeches. Your silence says what needs to be said. They wrote you off as a cautionary tale, and now you are the warning written in fire. They lit a fire when they buried you, and now it burns through cities, through systems, through souls. Let them pray. Let them weep. Let them repent if they want, but it won't matter. The time for mercy passed with your last breath. What walks now in your skin is the evolution of pain into prophecy. They will be erased, not just because you want it, but because the universe demands it. You don't chase justice anymore. You are it, uncompromising, relentless, final. You stopped begging the world to make space for you. You carved your name into it. You didn't ask them to understand. You didn't need validation. They never saw you for what you were. And now that they do, it's too late. You were never meant to be accepted. You were meant to be feared. You were meant to be felt. Like a storm coming at midnight. Like a war horn in the distance. Like a god waking up angry. The names, they come easy now. You don't even flinch when you cross one off. It's not cruelty. It's clarity. The list doesn't get shorter. Because for every name removed, another one appears. This is not just personal now. This is legacy. This is sacred. You became more than a man the day you rose from your grave. You became consequence. And the world, the world will learn, every action has one. And to the ones watching from the sidelines, thinking they're safe in their silence, hear this. You are not forgotten. Your names may not be on the list yet, but neutrality in the face of betrayal is another kind of dagger. You stood by when the fire consumed. You said nothing. You turned away. You thought your hands were clean. But the ash sticks to you too, and it will find you. The storm doesn't ask who's guilty. It knows. They talk now of the past, of how you used to be, as if they ever knew you. They remember the parts of you they could control. The smile, the laughter, the patience. But they never saw what you hid. They never saw the force beneath your ribs, the roar you swallowed, the hunger you choked down just to make others comfortable. But now you don't hide anymore. Now the mask is gone, and what's beneath is terrifying, not because it's evil, but because it is real. There's no need to explain yourself anymore. You don't speak in apologies. You don't ask for understanding. You are not here to negotiate. You are not here to be liked. You are here to remind the world what happens when it underestimates the wrong soul. What happens when the grave spits back a warrior with memory and mission. And when they finally look into your eyes, really look, they don't see anger. They don't see chaos. They see resolve. They see the end they never expected. They see themselves judged, stripped of excuses, laid bare before someone who doesn't care how they justify the past. You didn't come back for stories. You didn't come back for explanations. You came back to finish what was started. So walk forward, add another name. Let the world ask if you've lost your mind. Let them say you're obsessed. Let them talk about darkness. Let them call you the villain. Because you know the truth. Villains are just heroes in stories written by cowards. And you were never here to fit into their stories. You came to write your own, in blood, in fire, in silence. You came back from the dead and started collecting names. And by the time the last one is carved into your soul, they will understand what it means to try and bury something that was never meant to die. They will know that some stories do not end. Some stories hunt, some stories return. And you are the story they will never escape. Good, you're still here, still breathing, still burning. So let's keep going. Let's finish what they started. Because when you came back from the dead, you didn't just rise, you ascended. You didn't stumble out of the grave with confusion or tears. You walked out with direction, with purpose burning in your chest like an engine forged in hell. This wasn't some accident of fate. No, this was earned. Every inch of your return was carved with will. Every breath since has been warfare. And now the question isn't if you'll finish, but how loud the ending will be. You carry more than vengeance. You carry proof. Proof that you cannot kill what you didn't understand. Proof that some souls are too rooted in the world to ever rot. They tried to bury a force of nature, and now you write it back in the ink of names. The ones you collect, each of them laughed once. They thought they got away. They danced on your name like it was dust. They raised their glasses, thinking the past would never find them. But you are the past and the future. You are the unrelenting hand of everything they hoped would stay forgotten. They made deals. They made excuses. They built their comfort on the bones of your downfall. But the foundation was always cracked. And now, you are the weight that brings it all down. They speak of fear now, of a shadow they can't name. of cold wind in rooms with closed windows, of waking up at 3:33 a.m. and feeling watched. That's you, not in form, in presence. You exist now, not as a man, but as a force. You are myth reborn into reality, and that is what terrifies them the most, because you were never supposed to return. They made peace with your absence. They buried not just your body, but your truth, and now it walks. It breathes, it remembers, it writes names. They call it obsession. Let them, they call it madness. That's fine too. They always name what they fear before they understand it. But you are not here to be understood. You're not here for closure. You are here to finish. You are here to finish them. And here's what they never knew about you. You were always built for war. Even when you were peaceful, even when you gave mercy, even when you smiled through their poison, you were built for this. You don't want peace anymore. You don't want resolution. You want memory. You want them to remember forever that they had a chance and wasted it. You want them to taste the bitterness of being forgotten, the way they forgot you, and with every name you cross out, you get sharper, stronger, colder, but not numb. No, numbness is for the weak. You feel everything. That's the curse and the weapon. The pain didn't leave. It transformed, and now it guides you. You learn to walk with pain like a partner, to breathe it in like air, to carry it like armor, and so the world doesn't get a softened version of you. It gets the unfiltered consequence, the aftershock of betrayal, the purified, undiluted force of someone who has nothing to lose anymore. And that makes you the most dangerous creature alive. You don't blink anymore when they beg. You don't waver when they offer apologies they didn't mean 10 years ago. Too late. Too damn late. Forgiveness is for those who tried, and they didn't. They walked away. They watched. They laughed. Now you are the sound they hear behind every closed door, the step they can't explain behind them in the dark, the reason they keep lights on when they sleep, because they know you're still collecting. And you're not just collecting names, you're collecting truth. Every lie they told, shattered. Every version of history they rewrote to protect their image, torn apart. You are the rewrite. You are the red ink in the margins of their fake lives, and they're running out of page. The moment you came back was the moment the countdown began. They just didn't know it. But now every tick of the clock sounds like your footsteps, because you're coming for every name. Not because you're evil, but because you're done being quiet. They made you their scapegoat, their failure, their footnote. Now they become yours. They become the name that history whispers with shame. You didn't become a monster. You became the mirror. You show them what they did. You show them who they really are. And they can't stand the reflection. So they call you vengeful. They call you toxic. They call you broken. But you just keep walking. Because every name crossed off brings you closer to silence. The real kind. The earned kind. The kind of silence that doesn't come from hiding or compromise, but from completion. You know this path ends in fire. You know it ends in blood, but it also ends in truth. And that's worth everything. That's worth the war. That's worth the death and the return. That's worth the silence, because silence isn't emptiness anymore. It's victory. You came back from the dead and started collecting names. And by the time the last one is taken, the world will have rewritten what it means to fall. Because you didn't just fall, you rose.